Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's series of /GG Heroes Open. I am Cat Peach, I'll be your host for tonight. And tonight we will be going to a Group 2 Round 2 matchup between Blasting Burritos and Running with Turtles. I hope you've had a swell weekend and are ready to kick off with some great old Heroes of the Storm. It looks like both of our teams are ready. So we are going to get this game started for y'all. Game number 1, we'll be heading over to Tomb of the Spider Queen. While this draft kind of gets kicked off, let's actually visit what our map picks and bans were for this evening. So being taken off the table tonight are Cursed Hollow from Blasting Burritos and Infernal Shrines from Running with Turtles. Tomb of the Spider Queen is where we'll be going for map number 1. Let's kick things off. First pick, going over to RWT. And as this begins to get underway, number 1, thank you all for joining. And number 2, we had a couple things happen behind the scenes. So Revox is God, thank you for that follow. And Insonius coming in with that 15-month resub. Thank you so much, everybody. I super appreciate it. And it looks like, oh no, yeah, the title is incorrect. Let's get that fixed real fast. This is Group 2, Round 2. Wrong teams coming in here. There's always one thing that goes wrong with production. And that should be all set and dandy now. Thank you for that. Turns out that production is hard. So, starting off, as Madame being pulled out from Running with Turtles from the draft. Kilthos also being banned out on the side of Blasting Burritos, both having pretty good poke potential, especially around the turn-ins here. So taking those off the playing field. Waiting ban number 2. Diablo being able to get those shadow charges out, especially in the areas along those turn-in points. Just lots of walls to capitalize on that stun potential. Jaina being taken out, so mages not really what Blasting Burritos are looking for tonight, which is interesting. I wonder if that means they have something special up their sleeves that maybe mages don't really play along so well into their plan with. And a first pick Zeratul coming out from the Turtles. But in response, the Snap Tyrande, along with the Johanna. Tyrande still extremely strong, being able to use those owls, be able to not only poke the turn-ins, like we said on Tomb of the Spider Queen, prevent that gem turn-in, but just to get vision on camps, on bosses, so extremely terrifying there. Johanna, definitely one of the stronger tanks right now in this meta. Zeratul kind of leaning towards, at least this speaks to me, Running with Turtles really wants to win out on this early game, get that advantage as soon as possible with that Zeratul, with those picks coming out, and Garrosh and Ana being able to keep that Zeratul alive, Garrosh being able to set up for, or even follow up on Zeratul engages, for that matter. Speaks a lot to that type of potential. Ana, though, being able to actually deny some of the healing from Tyrande as well. So we'll have to see who ends up winning on that support war. The Gul'dan being banned out, again with those mages not necessarily knowing what's going on with that. Gul'dan isn't super strong right now. He has really excellent wave clear, specifically here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And especially with a lot of those corridors that we talked about. Corruption just gets so much value in those spaces during team fights, so I can totally see that being taken off the table. Junkrat is a bit more expected. Again, all these heroes being taken off just are so strong in controlling who can turn in gems at what point during this match. So not too surprised by any of those. We still need some damage from Blasting Burritos. Seeing as they've denied so many mages, I'm thinking they might be pulling out more of an auto attack focus, which they are. They're going to pull out the Rainer and then Leoric for that solo lane, ladies and gentlemen. So being able to match into whoever Running with Turtles ends up picking now. With that melee, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go a bit more ranged for that offlane. They can also do something a bit more tradey. They can go with something like a Malfield, who gets a lot of value against tankier heroes like that Leoric. So they are going to go for that Blaze. Follow it up with the Orphea here, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't gotten to see so much Orphea play. Orphea tends to be taken off the table a lot of times, so you can ban 3 mages, but you can't ban them all out. We'll have to see how Running with Turtles is able to utilize that Orphea. She can be really strong, still has potential to get a lot of value along those turn-ins. And through this whole game, ladies and gentlemen, Maiev has made it through, potentially causing a little bit of a snafu for Running with Turtles. There's not so much melee heavy, but if Maiev can get those tethers off onto, especially Zeratul, when they go in for those engages, it can turn around very quickly. And with the clumping that we're likely going to see from Blaze and Garrosh and Zeratul kind of trying to set up for Orphea to get her abilities out and do that damage, leaves a lot of potential for Blasting Burritos to come in and say, here's some pepper, we're going to sprinkle it all on. We've got Leoric, who likely is going to go into and can capitalize on those. Zeratul, luckily, will be able to blink out if that's the case. But we have 2 very different styles here, and we'll have to see who wins out. On one side, you have Running with Turtles, again, who I think are more banking on winning early and then continue to keep that win as this match goes on. And then on the other side, we do have Blasting Burritos, who I believe excel a bit more late game, especially when you're thinking about Raynor needing to get some of his buffs, especially with Raynor's Radar or the Hyperion, depending on what we go. But we'll have to see how this pans out in game number 1. On the left in the blue, ladies and gentlemen, we do have Blasting Burritos. Tiddlyhee is going to be on that Johanna. Bonbons on the Raynor. Justice will be playing the Leoric. Michaelin on the Maiev. And Zoo supporting on the Tyrande. And in the red, we do have Running with Turtles. T-Pole will be on that Ana. Alazar playing the Blaze. DK Unleashed on the Orphea. Silver Jackal being a little sneaky on that Zeratul. And Daff going to be on the Garrosh. Both teams just waiting for both those minion waves to come through. Very quick clear coming out from Blasting Burritos. Daff OP trying to get the flip, ends up catching a minion instead, and that kind of calls it quits here in the mid. If you can't get those picks very early in that mid skirmish, it's pretty worth just to go ahead and get the clear as soon as possible in other lanes, which we see both teams doing. Running with Turtles responding to the rotation that Blasting Burritos already had made. While down in the bottom lane, we have our offlaners trading out. Justice getting a lot of health down onto Alazar, going to be able to back away just fine for the time being. We'll have to see how that matchup goes while this match continues. In terms of wave clear, both teams don't necessarily... Well, you have the Raynor on Blasting Burritos, who pretty good at the clear. Maiev as well. I would say a little bit stronger on their side, at least for now. Silver Jackal does have the ability to use that Q to get the clear as well, but also in that gives away position. You need to keep that stealth, and if you're clearing minion waves, don't necessarily have that. Let's see how Running with Turtles wants to cope with that. DK Unleashed trying to get the damage onto Tiddlyhee here. Comes in, a hardened skin pop for Johanna, going to walk away with that condemn. Down in the bottom though, looks like these 2 teams want to really skirmish over this camp. Silver Jackal trying to get away with just a sliver of health. Elazar having fallen already. Tyrande stun, who tries to get the owl to finish Zeratul off, but it just isn't the case. This camp going over to Blasting Burritos here from the start. And I kind of talked about earlier how I was really hoping to see Running with Turtles kind of try to get these early picks on this map to kind of secure early level advantage. They're kind of lacking on that right now. But as we get into you know, the earlier stage of Talents level 4 now hitting for them, they might be able to turn this around and start finding those picks on the map. Silverjack and Blaze in Elazar in the bottom, trying to keep up that soak as well. About half a level missing for Running with Turtles so far. There's plenty of opportunity, especially in that bottom lane, as this wave, as this lane starts to get pushed into their towers. A bit easier, a bit safer to soak that. Hells are actually doing a pretty good job of keeping this pushed out in Running with Turtles' favor for the time being. However, although that does make Blaze a little bit gankable, so something they're going to have to keep an eye on throughout this. Beautiful flip, but it ends up being on that camp minion, which helps with the clear. Not the worst in the world. Definitely not the target I think Daff was really looking for, however. Silver looking low, trying to see if maybe there's an opportunity for engagement, but it's really risky. Gets the heal coming out from T-Pole now. Might be a little bit of an engage. They were able to protect that camp being grabbed from Orphea in the meantime, so they have the ability to push out mid a little bit. Blasting Burritos, though, while all this was going on, while all the soaking was happening, able to collect gems needed to get the first Web Weaver phase. So we'll have to see how long they want to maybe stall that out for, wait for a bit later in the game to potentially get a bit stronger of a Web Weaver phase. Bonbons taking a bit of damage, ends up getting sleep. Daff retreating for now. Mikhailin trying to look for the engage, doesn't find it, ends up backing away. Summons for Blasting Burritos. The way that this is playing out, though, that I just feel like Zeratul isn't being super aggressive yet. And I feel like when you're first picking a Zeratul, you have to be confident that you're going to go in, you're going to get that damage, you're going to be able to get away. And I know come level 10, there's opportunity for Zeratul to have a lot more of that. Hold on, Mikhailin ends up getting tossed and uses the jump to avoid some of that damage, ends up mounting and getting away, but Tiddlyhee with the re-engage. DK away for now. Skirmish ends. But so far, even in these little tiny skirmishes that are happening, it just seems like Blasting Burritos gets a little bit more damage here and there over their opponent. Let's see how that goes late game. Once you have that taunt on Garrosh, though, it could absolutely swing a fight in somebody's favor. So you have the taunt, you have potentially the Eternal Feast coming out from Orphea as well. And you potentially have quite a lot of damage coming out at the team all at once, and suddenly everyone goes bye-bye. Blasting Burritos really focusing on this top lane, boss lane, hoping to set up later. Johanna going to fall down in mid. A really great pick actually coming out, especially prior to level 10 that it looks like Blasting Burritos will be arriving at soon. Running with Turtles trying to find the re-engage before anyone could retreat, but not to be had. But this Web Weaver phase, excuse me, already close to over. 2 forts falling on the side of Running with Turtles, but you know, as Bahamut likes to say, forts just hold you back. Keeps just hold you back. Running with Turtles, they don't want the forts and the keeps to hold them back. And in this meta, the way that experience has changed, it's not that big of a deal anymore to lose those forts, especially at this point in the game. It's not something you really want, but it's not as devastating as it used to be. So it's something that Running with Turtles can absolutely come back from. Trying to get the turn in before someone can notice. Mikhailin checks the bush. Isn't going to be able to poke this, though. 3 gems needed to finish the turn in, though, from Running with Turtles. Before they do that, they come down to the camp. Leoric backing away. We're starting to see the collapse, though. Justice gets the stun. Can they get this Leoric out before the rest of the engage? Mikhailin on the back nine ends up getting put to sleep. The stun, though, falling onto DK, trying to get out of the picture. The Entomb coming out from Leoric, though, traps those turtles, and that is going to be 4 falling here over this camp in the bottom lane, and all those gems that were once held are now on the floor, not to be found. Silver trying to turn in the 15 actually that he's got. And the rest of Running with Turtles will be up finally as these Web Weavers fall. They do have 10 now as well. So we see that taunt, we see the Void Prison. Let's see if we get the connection. There's a flip from Alizar, there's the engage onto Raynor on the backside, the slow coming out, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to get the pick. Raynor's ready coming to get a little bit of damage. Unstoppable prop from Garrosh, but the stun keeping him around. The heals coming out from T-Paul as best as possible. The Void Prison used on the backside just to keep Bonbons out of the picture. The taunt, though, going out into Tiddly. Can they get the kill on Joanna? Again, it doesn't look like it. The Condemn is there. The heals are there from Tyrande as well. Now they're going out onto Dath. Will they be able to get out in time? Just a sliver of health, but that armor keeping them alive as well. The Entomb, though, making sure the retreat can be stopped. Crushing Jaws coming out from the Orphea. They do get the kill onto the Leoric, and that is a chunk of gems from that Leo that are no longer in possession of Blasting Burrows. Not too much push potential because of that fight, but it is giving Running with Turtles a little bit of room. Now, return, they have numbers advantage in terms of players on the field, so they can push this for a little bit easier. They just have to make sure to retreat in time before Leoric comes back. Maev, though, still has... We don't have Warden's Cage. We actually have the Isolation coming out from her here. We'll have to see Mikhailin how he chooses to handle that. 13 now for Blasting Burritos, so Running with Turtles needs to find the opportunity to soak a little bit of advantage. They can't really push the bottom lane too much as it's pushed pretty far into that gate tower already, but with Leoric responding, they might be able to take a fight here, but it might be a risk they're not willing to take. The stun goes out onto Silver Jackal, and that is quite a few gems. 15, 18, I believe that was, falling for Running with Turtles. Halen coming in on the backside, trying to harass Orphea as much as possible. Tree is on. Mikhailin gets flipped, but the Entomb is preventing Dath from getting into the base. The bunker, though, coming out from Alzar, tries to save him, but it is not enough. Play is going to fall right after Leoric, though, going to be traded out. Can they get the final shots on Siddeley? They do. Zoo, though, trying to collect as many of those fallen gems as possible before retreating here. Justice being alert. Oh, the Void Prison coming out from Silver Jackal. There's the kill onto Tyrande. Can they get the kill onto Mikhailin? They're going to hopefully use that escape to get out. Orphea trying to use that waltz to close the distance, and they are able to get the kill on to Raynor. So really good re-engage coming in from them, but the mana is pretty low on T-Pole, so smart to disengage there, not to try to take much more than what they were able to get. It seems now that the Void Prison is available for Running with Turtles, they're being a bit braver in the types of skirmishes and engagements they are trying to take. Because they know they have the follow-up from Orphea, so long as it's timed out correctly to be able to get the damage in, the follow-up from that heroic. We do have that nano boost coming out from Ana. Eye of Horus still banned out right now for slashgg, as there are some little pesky issues with how it operates and some of its healing. Both these teams, 16 approaching for Blasting Burritos. They're going to want to safely soak this and get that 16 so they can be a bit more aggressive in the future. However, Running with Turtles, this is the opportunity that they need to engage if they want to try to get a pick now. Dath running into Tiddly on the backside, gets the flip. But the Condemn does come out as well. Running with Turtles now on the retreat here, getting really low. DK and Leaf trying to find their way behind the get. The Void Prison is there. The Crushing Jaws to follow up as well. The taunt, though, coming out from Garrosh. Make sure that this starts to go in Running with Turtles' way. It's 2 down, and they're looking for more. Leoric barely surviving, finally going down there. Case going on onto Mikhailin. Maev going to be the next, and I don't think they actually get the kill onto Tiddly from this. But a 4-for-0 trade on their side before their opponents can hit 16 is absolutely huge for them, because otherwise they wouldn't have been able to take that kind of fight. So they played their cards right, they played their timing right. It's going to warrant them a boss on top of it to help maybe not so much alleviate the pressure on the top lane. There's still this pretty sizable minion wave and catapult going toward that keep, which already has lost the gate in front of it as well. But it'll hopefully get them to trade out, possibly, that top fort. get them a little bit more of that passive XP that you now get for taking forts out. However, through all this, Blast and Burritos absolutely know this boss call is there. And I think if Leoric can land an Entomb to save all Entombs, oh, never mind. I thought maybe they were gonna go in there, but they do not. So Bops on the side of running the turtles, they just hit the amount of gems needed for another turn in as well. So if they can sneak this really quick, not only do they have boss pressure, but they have a Web Weaver going down that lane as well. And if they can get a pick on the Justice on top of it, it would be even sweeter. But Justice going to go help with that clear. The rest are running with turtles spreading out, or if you're trying to get the bottom clear, sitting on a lot of gems as well. The rest of the team turning in what they're able to do for the time being. Owl goes out, not connecting. Running with turtles going to retreat, not wanting to potentially risk getting picked off themselves. Blast and Burritos, though, on the other side, also getting close to a turn-in. So this is going to start turning into the defense of all defenses for both of these teams. Who can get it first? And it looks like Blast and Burritos, that they're gonna need one more to turn in. Let's see who gets it, who has it. It's going to be Justice, who's the only one that has a gem on them right now. Daff trying to make sure they get zoned. The Raiders Raider going on to Daff, though, slowly poking away at that health. People trying to heal up the garage. And there's the turn-in, snuck in by Justice. While Turtles were waiting for that engagement. Silver Jackal waiting, gets the Void Prison. Can they get another 3-man kill here? There's the Crushing Dolls. The Unstoppable practicing the counter. Entomb coming out so quickly after, ends up with 2 of running with turtles, soon to possibly be 3 and possibly 4 falling on this Web Weaver phase. There goes the Blaze. DK actually making it out with just a little bit of help, but an engage that goes a little bit south of what they were intending. A very well set up Entomb from Blast and Burritos, making sure that they can kind of counter that fight. And we're now looking at keep pressure in several lanes. Bottom keep's going to fall, top keep. DK's trying to save it, not necessarily sure it's going to survive it very long. Mid keep as well. The defenses of running with turtles starting to grow pretty thin. DK holding on to 47 gems, ends up, oh, but the flip from Daff gets him out of the Entomb. Kalen uses the jump to avoid the sun, trying to get away. DK trying to get a little bit more damage. The isolation coming up, but Maev still is going to fall. Tiddly Heat going to be the second here to go down. And here comes the retreat. Leoric using that walk to get away. But ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at 1, 2, 3 keeps gone for running with turtles. So they are literally on the thinnest of ice possible for the rest of this game. At the same time, it gives them the chance to catch up in experience. They have these lanes pushed out. They're able to get the turn in for themselves. It's going to start pretty far back is the only problem here. But at this stage in the game where you do have the clear from Blaze and from everyone else on the team, they could potentially push these pretty far in, but they have a few forts to go through. Not to mention this bottom lane, absolutely no gate, or still has a gate. Missing a turret up here in mid, but gate's still intact, so there's a lot more structural damage they need to accomplish in this push if they're even looking at keep potential. Smart for blasting Burritos. Focus on boss lane clear first. Also protecting this one fort that has quite a bit of damage on it. Close to falling. 20s here though for blasting Burritos as well, which is going to make this push even more difficult for running with turtles. You can't push too hard because they have to worry about engaging into a team with level 20 talents. So they're trying to rotate bottom, trying to safely soak, maybe catch a pick by surprise. All heroics are up for both teams. Dem misses. There's the Blessed Shield though coming out from Johanna. Dash gets the flip onto DK to give a little bit more space there, but the chase coming out from Blasting Burritos is real. Teal pull right now is the focus. Leoric, or Maya getting the last hit there, but Leoric doing a lot of damage. Orphea going to fall right after. Justice taking a bit of damage as well, and this is looking like it's going to be potentially a team wipe of Running with Turtles. Zeratul in that isolation just a bit. Alazar going to escape. Raiders Raider did a bit of damage there. There's the Hearth, and here is the core push from Blasting Burritos. GG's coming out. Last Webweaver push, not enough to secure the win or secure any more structural damage for Running with Turtles. And that's kind of what I think is a tricky part with a Zeratul comp, which, by the way, strong hero, the isolation adaptation, what's that actually called? I always forget what it's really called. I just call it the isolation, because that's more or less what it is. The containment disc. The containment disc from Maya, a very good adaptation. We usually see the Warden's Cage, which I thought we might see a Warden's Cage Hyperion combination, because that can be really strong as well. But being able to use that against something like a Zeratul, or even the Orphea, like we saw a few times, or even on the Garrosh, if for some reason Maiev wasn't caught in the taunt. But the team fighting on the side of Blasting Burrito is just really strong, showing why Maiev is such a playmaker. But Leoric kind of coming in. Let's look at some of these stats real quick. Before we get to our next match. Kills pretty even, but some of those entombs coming out from Justice were just the epitome of what I think we all want entombs to be. It was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's update our maps here. Game number 2. No. Some folks in chat been really eager to figure that out. We are going to be going to Volskaya Foundry, as one Slavic in chat has been hoping for there. And we just need to get this lobby set up. Let our teams back in. That actually updated. Yeah. Excellent. Also, shout outs to Crow and Falendrith for all the Soothsayer stuff that they have been able to build out. Making these broadcasts a dream for me, as someone who has to run all this production on my own. Makes it super easy. Thank you all for also coming out, and while that game happened, Sadat Hots and Manny for Running in Turtles, thank you for those follows. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Game number 2 picked by Running with Turtles, as we mentioned. So statistically wise, Running with Turtles sitting on top of the standings in Group 2 for slashgg. But Blasting Burritos sitting at 4th, but I think they're also potentially, I believe, a game behind. And so this might be able to tie them up, bring them up a little bit in the standings. Looks like, oh. People getting all mixed up here in my, in my lobby. Waiting for these teams, but I hope you're all having an excellent Sunday night. You tell them, Mono. You tell them. All right, both teams are ready. We're gonna get into the strat for game number 2. Going on to Volskaya. Running with Turtles sitting up 1 game in this best of 2 series. So let's see if we get the 1-1 draw from Running with Turtles, or if Blasting Burritos are able to blast themselves to a 2-0 victory and getting that domination point. Still seeing the Kael'thas ban come out from Blasting Burritos. Another map that Kael'thas is very strong on too. I know a lot of teams, especially higher level players, don't see the value of Kael'thas, but especially in close quarters, Kael'thas can be quite the nuisance, and really a map like Volsky encourages teams to play really close together, encourages that bomb spread. For the same reasons as before, we also see Diablo banned out, but the Ana being taken off the table, so T-Pole going to be playing a different support in game number 2. I wouldn't be surprised to see another Azmodan ban, but at the same time, is it necessarily the one thing you need to worry about? I find it surprising that we still see Azmodan banned out so much in competitive groups like slashgg and beyond. Because it's very, I don't want to say it's easy just to, you know, deal with an Azmodan, but it's not as oppressive as something like a Maiev or something, you know, like that Diablo, especially on a map like this. It just seems so strange to me that just the annoyance factor that he has warrants so many bans. But instead we get the Zeratul banned out by running with Turtles this time around. Tyrande being picked up to be played again by Blasting Burritos. We're going to see the Garrosh and the Hanzo this time around from running with Turtles. Baby Wizard, Celestial Games, thank you for those follows as well. Hope you're enjoying the cast here. It's been a bit since I've streamed. Took a bit of a break last week for some reasons. We're back here, kicking off the week with slashgg. We're also getting to the end of round 2, so starting in a couple of weeks will be the next stage of the Heroes Open, so make sure to stick around for the tournament bracket phase coming up in a couple weeks. Should be exciting to see where all these teams fall. We're gonna see Justice on that Leoric again. Really pulling out the Johanna. There has to be a way for running with Turtles to be able to survive through that Entomb. What I've seen a few times in the past is the use of Stukov in the Lurking Arm. When that Entomb goes out, just slam down the Lurking Arm, making sure that anyone that tries to get toward that Entomb is silenced and therefore does a bit less damage. Malfurion being taken off the table. Maiev as well. The Hanzo is interesting. You do get a lot of potential to have that scatter shot bounce around quite a bit in that beacon control point because of those walls and the way it's structured. Not, depending as well, you could get a lot of damage down on the protectors if they're on your opponent's side. I'm always wary of things like that. There's the Stukov coming out for T-Pole, and the Ragnaros coming out from Alizar for that offlane. So being able to also protect those forts and keeps a bit longer with that Molten Core. I'm excited. I haven't seen a Ragnaros game competitively in a little bit. I actually have a giant smile on my face. That's super exciting. We're gonna see the Rainer coming out yet again, and the follow-up, Kael'thuzad here. So early game, bit weaker, but once Kael'thuzad gets those stacks, looking at that Hanzo, looking at that Stukov, it's gonna be a scary, scary picture, especially if that, you know, the chains connect and the combos connect with that Kael'thuzad and the Shadow Fisher, able to poke a lot. Last pick, Genji. So the Shimada brothers dueling up here from running with Turtles. And this is so interesting. So let's look at it this way. Let's look at it this way as this sets up, right? So Hanzo has the potential to escape the Entomb prior to level 20 if we go with the Entomb Silence at that level. Genji and Hanzo can both evade that Fisher pretty well, so long as they have the wall jump unavailable if you're near a wall. But 2, if those are on cooldown even. Stukov, though, not so much. Ragnaros, not so much. Garrosh, not so much. But what you do have on the side of running with turtles is a lot of long-distance poke from that Hanzo and that Genji. The engage is going to be extraordinarily interesting coming out from them, though. But I'm super excited to see this Ragnaros very, very specifically. Let's get into this game, though. Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, in the blue, we do have Blasting Burritos. Michaelin going to be on that Kel'Thuzad. Justice on the Leoric yet again. Bonbons reprising the Rainer. Tiddly Heat, Johanna. And Zoo is going to be on the Tyrande. And we're going to have a pause real quick as Zoo has disconnected. So welcome back. We're here. I see all y'all shouting out Super Waldo for his birthday. Happy birthday. Hope it's been good. Wait for the teams to get ready here. I'm still worried about the team fight for running with turtles. Because on top of the Entomb, you also have, again, you have that Kel'Thuzad Heroic that you can just land right under there. And it is just a beautiful setup. And then on top of that, if we do see the switch onto Hyperion, additional setup there. I think teams are about to be ready. Let's get this game. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. I had to unmute there. All right, so we got Blasting Burritos introduced. In the red, we do have Running with Turtles. T-Pole going to be on that Stukov. Alizar on the Ragnaros. DK Unleashed on the Genji. Daff going to be again on that Garrosh. Silver Jackal on the Hanzo. And I am quite curious to see what they have planned. The beautiful Sonic Arrow onto Zoo. Carrying that vision all around here. Again, early quick wave clear coming out from Blasting Burritos, able to get that wave push and make very fast rotation. Ahead of Running with Turtles. I want to see how quickly Kel'Thuzad can stack his quest. Because that's really what it all comes down to. Is being able to get that quest, get that additional damage potential for him to really become a mid and late game beast. Or if Running Confernals can use that Genji and that dive just to harass Kel'Thuzad so much that they get those early picks and kind of make it up in experience, so Blasting Burritos don't feel comfortable taking a fight being experienced down, which is mostly the foot that Running with Turtles was in the last matchup. Well, let's see. They can turn around this time. Quick item capture from both teams here. Silver Jackal working on the turret camp. While the fortification camp already taken by Blasting Burritos. Getting those turrets, really helping to control the beacons during the objective. So collecting those items is the name of the game. Focus though right now onto Justice. They might be able to get the pick onto Leoric, who gets the heal just in time from Zoo. Conveyor belts making this engagement happen a little bit longer. The chain misses. Michaelin now quickly the focus. Kel'Thuzad trying to get away is going to fall for trying to assist. Leoric though does live another day. So one death traded for potentially another there. Genji just trying to get that soak, as we mentioned. Both teams still fairly even here. Target practice, by the way. Which I have to say is not something I've seen usually. And that's exciting. I've been seeing a lot more redemption these days. So Hanzo having to hit every single hero. Which, with the way that the objective is set up, should be fairly easy so long as they can hit those targets. Support beacon still is available. Daft kind of scoping that out, seeing if Blasting Burritos are around, going to start on that, seeing if maybe they can pick that up, maybe give the early percentage of this beacon away while they set up for a bit more of an engagement. Bombazo does get the sight on this. Running with Turtles, able to take it away, not too much of an issue. Now onto Silver Jackal. Alzar going in though, trying to see if they can start the engagements here. Facade looking for the combo, and there's the root and the damage. The stun does go out onto Alzar. The healing beacon is dropped. Daph trying to set things up, and it looks like it's working. 2 deaths on the side of Blasting Burritos coming out here. This beacon control swapping over in favor of Running with Turtles. Tiddly trying to just distract here in mid, get a little bit minion clear while they wait for the rest of the team to respawn so they can contest this control. DK taking the opportunity as well, get a bit of experience up in the top lane. Both teams now returning back to this beacon. Leo soaking as well on bottom, now coming up through the conveyor belts. Going in deep, uses the Wraithwatch to try to get off of it. Just for the mobility. Daph trying to go in. Another turret picked up for Blasting Burritos. We still have 1 item available as well for Running with Turtles. There's a flip onto Justice going back. DK going real deep in, trying to get the damage onto Michaelin. Running with Turtles getting the first protector of this game. Can they all survive to see it through? Genji getting into the protector just to start moving it about. Sukov joining as well. The Auric going to fall in this engagement. Running with Turtles and that protector start to work on this front gate. They're quickly going to make the rotation. They do have a bit of wave clear that they need to take care of before they can think about taking out the front gate and well of that top lane, which tends to be the play on this map. Look at the health already on this protector. Just so much chunked out by Blasting Burritos, which is why we see, again, that early rotation. The entire fort wasn't taken out there in mid, but they have to see how much they can deal damage to on this gate while they still have this protector intact. They're definitely not going to get the well, which is ideally what you want. So not the most productive protector that's ever existed, but not bad either. They get that sidewall, so Genji could hop in, try to quickly shuriken that well to death, and back out of here. See if they're able to. Protected, by the way. That being a bit of that Kel'Thuzad damage. Them going out onto Daph, follow-up Lunar Flare. Unstoppable proc, the armor saving Daph as well. They're gonna have to get out of here, or they end up falling. Love the way both of you guys just swiveling around, and you watch it, and you know exactly how their cursors are moving. It's like, I'm just gonna follow the line of where my minion wave is, and wait for potentially to be close enough to hit my opponent. It's such a Offlane is such a funny dance. It's hysterical. Who takes less damage? Who takes less of it? There's level 10 coming out for both teams. And ladies and gentlemen... Oh, just kidding. It's Dragon Arrow still. I thought it was Dragon Strike. I got a little excited. My bad. I just want all the interesting Hanzo stuff to come out today. But it's not going to happen. Connection misses for Michaelin. Sitting at 14 of those Blight stacks right now. So getting there, not quite there yet. We'll likely see a bit more of that come in once we start beacon control B up in the top lane. Daph waiting in the shadows, seeing if Bonbons makes the move. Also scoping out to make sure that this support beacon can be picked up for Running with Turtles before this next objective. Yeah, both these teams, they're uneven talents. There's no reason to really fight at this point in time. There's nothing to gain, but a lot to lose if they don't go your way. So everyone's kind of avoiding each other right now. It's a bit of a lull in the gameplay for the most part. And it's really just the race to see who gets to level 13 first as well. Top camp picked up. Running with Turtles. They're gonna go in. Blinds go out onto Death. They get the flip onto Johanna. A lot of potential damage coming out, but the Unstoppable proc gets Daff back into safety for the time being.
Terminal will be online in a moment.
Oh, our offlaners. Doing offlane things. Let's see who chooses to come up to the team fight first here. A little bit left of this camp from running with turtles. Just trying to hide behind it. Get a little bit of that damage. Johanna popping that iron skin. Them going out, pulling in. The dragon arrow hits, but there's not enough immediate engagement. But there is the X-Strike from Genji. Gets a lot of damage. The stun onto Daff, but Daff ends up falling instead of the opposite way. DK tries to get out of there. Not in time. Ends up falling. It's going to be 20 seconds before both Garrosh and Genji are back on the battlefield. So this early beacon control again going over to Blasting Burritos. The nice thing about this type of objective and what we see running with turtles doing is that you don't necessarily need to be the first to start it early. Oh, Silver Jackal just eats the entirety of Kel'Thuzad's kit. Literally every ability. The Q, the W, the E, and the R. All of it. All of it. The 70% already ticked away here. I'm not necessarily sure running with turtles will have enough time to contest this control point whatsoever. Hanzo is back. Trying to get there as quickly as possible. We're at 95%. Daff stepping on the point just to start the contention. But we are now at 99. The support beacon is dropped. Daff, though, taking a ton of damage. Uses the taunt just to try to get out. Gets the heals. Sulfurous Smash lands for Ragnaros. A 1-1 trade right now. Alzar, though, going to be the 2-1. Daff OP now surrounded by members of Blasting Burritos. Garrosh is going to fall, and that is going to complete the channel. Silver Jackal trying to get away. Gets the well tap. But we're now sitting at a 1-level advantage for Blasting Burritos, being able to get quite a few kills over the course of the past couple minutes ever since that objective kicked off. They are going to go soak, see if they can get that 16 while potentially Blasting Burritos still has this protector. They're gonna get this fort down fairly easily. We'll have to see what they want to do. Do they continue to push this lane? DK Unleashed trying to get the kill onto Bonbons though on the backside. The E is proc though for Raynor, and Genji going to fall instead, trying to get a bit of that greed. The protector coming in to make sure Raynor gets away A-okay. Elzar trying to match a bit of the soak in mid, now returning to the bot just to try to contest Leoric a bit. But this protector still have health, 20 seconds left before its own shadow fixture does not connect with any target. Silver Jackal does take a bit of damage from the protector itself. Only 21 blight stacks. But this might be the first keep the fall of this game, and there it goes. The protector almost gone. Let's see if running with turtles can get the re-engage here. The dragon arrow only hits Johanna, who pops the iron skin, or the hardened skin. Daff OP ends up getting pulled back in with that condemn. The X-Ray goes out, gets the Tyrande. Alzar trying to get a little bit more damage out onto Blasting Burritos. Condemn yet again coming out from Tivoli. The chase is on though from running with turtles, seeing if they can get the damage on that to that Johanna. They are trying to weave and bob and dive. A little bit more protection, but she will eventually fall, giving level 16 to running with turtles. Being able to turn around and push a fight like that after losing keep is huge for them. Catches them up on talents, number one. But also helps them push this lane back a bit too. They don't necessarily have to worry about minions just yet, or catapults for that matter. But it's only a matter of time before that really starts to push in. Running with turtles, replenishing on items. Still have a few minutes before Control point C is up and available. Kind of one of the trickier ones to capture, given all the conveyor belts around that point. Both teams do have forts and walls available, so they'll be able to at least sustain a bit longer of team fights. Just quick rotations. Again, it just seems like neither team is looking for too much. If they can find a pick, excellent. But they're not really trying to force these engagements. There could have been a way harder commit to try to get that Ragnaros. Instead, they just push him back a little bit, rotate back up to mid, seeing what wave soak is available to take. This is really tense. Oh, well, I came down here just in time. We do see the pick onto Ragnaros. That entombed the Shadow Fissure, like we talked about, just securing the kill there. And this is where Blasting Burritos want to take out that well so that they can sustain a bit longer in the next coming team fight over the control point than their opponent. 25 for Blight stacks from Kil'Thuzad. Camp up top, really good to counter a bit of the catapult pressure that is going to be coming down that lane as well. So really smart pickup from running with turtles. They are going to have to wait, though, for Ragnaros to be back up. Or rotating down to bottom. But the other thing, though, level 20s around the corner for Blasting Burritos. So running with turtles not only have to wait for that Ragnaros, they have to see if they can get a fight sooner rather than later. The L goes out, lands onto DK. Hammer's coming out from Johanna as well. Daft stepping onto the point. Control is going to go over so they can start taking up a little bit of percentage themselves, but they can't stick around too long. They have threat of Leoric up in the top lane. They also are down level 20. So this is very advantageous for them. DK on the backside trying to get damage onto Zoo. Them going out. The protection is there, but it's not enough to save Genji. Drops the turret. Shadowstalk coming out from that Tyrande, but the Sulfurous Smash just lands right on top of her. Ends up being taken out. Kaelin's going to be the next to fall, but not after taking down the Ragnaros. Shadow Fissure is out. The healing beacon is there. Can running with turtles survive and maybe get another kill? No one has control over the beacon right now. T-Pole being flipped by Garrosh just to try to escape. This is lurking arm 2. Get a little additional damage, a little bit more distance between the two, but the three of them survive. All the while, Leoric doing damage to this core. Trying to escape. Silver Jackal trying to see if they can get the damage before Justice gets away. So Leoric is down. 2 members remain on the side of Blasting Burritos. They're doing all they can with those 2 members. Johanna trying to pick up this turret. Silver Jackal up top trying to clear a bit of this wave before the rest of the team starts to return down to the control point. They lose out on the turret. Justice starting to heal back up. Rainer's Raider zoning for Bonbons. Making sure they know when to get out of here. Daft taking a bit of that damage. Bonbon's going to rotate and leave. And control should go back over to the side of running with turtles. This has been an interesting back and forth. A very scary one at that, especially for running with turtles. We now have a straight path to core that's already taken 30% damage, roughly. Silver Jackal also up in the top lane, trying to push back that lane a little bit, but all the while, Alzar going to be taking a lot of damage. Daff as well. The armor, I don't know if it's enough to keep Garrosh alive. The downtown Dragon Arrow gets Bonbons and Zoo, but not before Ragnaros and Garrosh both fall yet again here. Blasting Burritos flip the control point. This should be Protector going in favor as well, save for a miracle on the side of running with turtles. There's the chain, there's the Shadow Fissure. T-Pole with the shove, the massive shove. Try to make a little bit of distance for the team.
Blue team has taken control of a Protector.
And this is looking real scary for running with turtles. Palindrome, thank you for that wonderful host. Hello, everyone.
Red team's core is under attack.
This Protector is going straight to this core, ladies and gentlemen, trying to see if they can finish the game right now. Give Blasting Burritos that 2-0 victory tonight. X-Strike is out from DK and Look. The protection is there to save them a little bit longer. The final hit coming out from Kilthuzad, making sure it goes down. And this core is falling fast. And ladies and gentlemen, Blasting Burritos will be the winner of this best of 2 series. There it is. I was questioning it for a little bit. GGs are out. Blasting Burritos taking out their opponents here in round 2 of this game. Let's take a look at these stats real fast. All in all, again, a kind of even kill count game. There's a lot of very interesting back and forths happening all match long. But in the end, there is just a couple things about the compositions on the side of Blasting Burritos that really helped them secure a lot of wins. And I have to say, Justice on that Leoric might have been the playmaker. So many great entombs all night. Really being able to set up from the damage on the Maiev, on the Kel'Thuzad, stun follow-up from Zoo as well on that Tyrande. All were absolutely excellent. And with that said, let's see if we can get a short interview. One of the members of Blasting Burritos. Blasting Burritos is kind of one of those very long-standing amateur teams, as we maybe not seen on your side of the broadcast, but most of the members having that Heroes of the Dorm portrait. Just seeing if we can get some Memberinos, Blasting Burritos, into here. But while we wait, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Those are really exciting games, a lot of good plays on both sides. It makes the rest of round 2 for slashgg look very interesting, and I wish the best of luck to both teams as they go through. I'm not entirely sure where this specifically puts the standings, because I'm bad at math, especially on the fly caster math. We'll just have to take a peek here. But prior to this, Blasting Burritos sitting in 4th place, Running with Turtles sitting in 1st. So this puts Running with Turtles at 212, Blasting Burritos at 301. I believe puts them ahead in standings. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Congratulations on your win to both of you and all the team. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good.
Tired.
Just a little bit tired. I know Justice isn't here, but dear golly, some of those entombs that came out in both those series just had me like, woof. Does Leoric play a lot of a picture in a lot of your compositions, or is that something just for tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Justice's Leo is kind of nutty. It's really good. Also, it's kind of just a pick in these games just because it felt pretty good into the tanks that they took both these games, and just the available offlaners, I guess, is kind of how we went through that decision making. But yeah, his Leo is really, really good. Like, he just won us fights, and I like winning fights. So props to him.
Truth.
And I mean, to be fair, Mikaelin, you also had really great follow-up on a lot of those entombs with the, I mean, Kel'Thuzad and the Shadow Fisher on that Ragnaros in the bottom lane was pretty nasty. But even a lot of the damage coming out from Maiev, it just seemed like something that you all were really ready to get in there and coordinate, and it was pretty brutal when it landed. But you also had, you know, Zoo with your follow-ups of the Lunar Flare to be able to get those stones was really impressive. I guess, what were your concerns coming into tonight, and how did you sort of prepare? I know this was kind of scheduled very short notice, like a couple of days both teams had to really set up, but what were the kind of couple days leading up to this match looking like for you? If anything.
I mean, we practice a lot for dorm. That's basically it.
Yeah. We're doing, kind of like the textbook collegiate right now. So we actually had a match today that we were prepping for a lot.
That was delayed 3 hours.
Oh, jeez.
That was fun. So we honestly didn't have too much time to prep for this match. Basically, the extent of our scouting was Silver Jackal has a really good health loss, and that was about it.
How has the Tespa Collegiate Series been going? You played your first game today, or are you still waiting to play?
We played our first game today.
Okay, how'd that go?
We had a fairly clean 2 hour, I'd like to think, so
Heck
pretty proud of that and pretty optimistic going forward.
That's
all you, Michaelin. All you.
All me. Every game, all me.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice.
Only 3 damage KTZ.
Only thing. Well, that's exciting. So competing in 2 leagues that I think are very kind of different audiences, right? Between the Collegiate Series and something like slashgg. Do you see a lot of crossover and strategies between the 2 leagues so far in what you've seen? Or are they just so entire polar opposites?
Really what we're trying to do is just get some consistency in our drafting. Just like drafting comps with a lot of margin of error, so like just a lot of wave clear, a lot of damage, a lot of CC, just that we have like a lot of overkill on just getting kills, and we can kind of play the map. Like game 1, we definitely demonstrated that, I think, with just like the Joe Maev, Reinu, Turanda. That's just like a lot of kill threat and a lot of wave clear, so I guess essentially we can make a lot of mistakes and still win fights and own the map. Game 2, we kind of did the same thing. We just drafted kind of the same heroes, Joe, Turanda, Leo, Rainer. And then I said I wanted to play KTZ, so I played KTZ.
I love that. I feel like playing this today, and, well, we're going to go with it. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I won't keep you up too long. It seems like you've had a lot going on today, so really great games. And before I let you go, I'm just going to give you the floor for whatever shout-outs you have.
Yeah, huge shout-outs to my whole team. Everyone played insanely well. Yeah, also props to Time. He's on our Tespo team, and he played earlier today, so huge shout-outs to him for the hard carry. Yeah, shout-outs to you for casting. Really, really appreciate you picking this up, and, shout-outs to Running with Turtles. They definitely put up a great fight. I think they'll go very, very far in Slash, and I'm excited to see where they end up. And yeah, shout out to everyone who watched. I think like a couple of people from Queen's Concerts dropped in. Viking watched. So yeah, huge shout out to everyone who watched, and thanks for supporting us.
Again, thanks for casting.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Absolutely, no problem. I always feel weird just because, and you guys know, and I think most of the folks watching know that I manage the Running with Turtles team, and so I tried to be like very separate from it, but I was like, I can't let this go uncasted because I had a feeling it was going to be a really good series, so I'm glad that everyone got to see it. So thank you guys for playing, for giving us something to cast. But yeah, I think that's all I have, so thanks again, and we'll be seeing you in your next match. When is your next match, by the way, do you know?
I think we have one tomorrow, actually.
Oh, great.
We play UAC Esports tomorrow, so.
Excellent. What time?
6:30 PST.
6:30 PST. All right. Well, hopefully everyone gets a chance to see that, so long as someone picks it up. If there's any casters in chat, make sure to check that out. And yeah, thank you both again. Enjoy your nights, and GGs.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. All right, folks. That's a 2-0 down, and that's a stream for me. So thanks everyone for hanging out. I know this is set up a little bit last minute, but I appreciate everyone being here and for all the follows, and again for that host and palindrome. That's really excellent of you to do. And I am just seeing who is streaming some more Hero Storm for us to send things over to. And it's looking like there's actually I don't think there's any more /gg games happening tonight, but it looks like there is an NGS game just getting into draft, so I am going to host Mongoose over so you guys can take a look at that cast. So again, thanks everyone for hanging out. I hope you had a great evening, and we will see you all next time. Have a great night.